Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
Go, go, Ranger Danger! Go, go, Ranger Danger! Go, go, Ranger Danger! Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger!
Welcome once again to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the TV series. What is it? The View? We watch The View?
Yeah, we watch The View.
Is that right? No, that's not it.
Would that be worse?
Probably would be worse.
I reckon there's probably more of The View. It's on like 5 days a week or some shit.
Yeah, we'd have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah.
No, we don't watch The View. We watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We're currently in Season 2. Today we'll be watching episode 69 of the show, which is entitled The Beetle Invasion.
Yep.
Presumably it's set in the 1960s, and we'll see some bob haircuts.
There have been 3,952 episodes of The View.
Alright, well, let's not do The View.
We could definitely not do it once a week.
Alright, so I'm Matt, Michael is here.
Howdy, folks.
And returning to the show as a solo guest for the first time in 30 episodes is Sarah.
Hi everyone, nice to feel your ears again.
They got immediately weak at work.
I'm back!
Yeah, it surprised me when I realised that we hadn't had you on in 30 episodes, but I guess that's because I see you literally every day of my life.
And you know, I've been in episodes, just not on my own.
That's right.
I just sort of sometimes walk past and
Impart some
advice,
wisdom.
yeah.
provide some wisdom.
Yeah.
Not always good wisdom.
Alright, so in a minute we'll see what wisdom you can bring to the Beetle Invasion.
Alright, let's do it.
But before that, Michael,
Yes.
there's something you want to discuss.
Yes, there's a new Dino Charge promo.
Oh, right.
out.
We watched
So-
one of those last week, I believe.
No,
I'm sure.
we watched a Ninja promo.
Oh, of course we did. Sorry, Dino Charge promo. Yes, let's do it.
So we'll pause, we'll link, we'll be back. Okay.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, a couple of things in there that I noted.
Yep.
We've gone back to It's Morphin Time.
Yeah, I was worried for a second when they did the Unleash the Power thing that would be their morphing call, which would be horrendous.
Yeah, it is
so,
a bit.
So thank God that's not the case.
No, I like It's Morphin Time.
I could have a reasonably long discussion about morphing calls that maybe we can have in a second.
Okay.
But we'll come back to that.
All right, sure, we'll come back to that. They do appear to be using the guns.
Yes.
I don't know quite what we'll call them in America, but they don't appear to be doing the dancing.
I feel pretty confident they'll be called charges, Michael.
That seems incredibly likely, yes. Dino Charges, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little disappointed that we're not seeing the dancing, but
I really don't think we're going to get dancing as much as you think,
What do you
Michael.
mean by dance?
the Japanese Sentai morph
Yeah.
involves them doing, like, they shoot their gun into the air. No, before they shoot their gun into the air and it turns into a dinosaur and morphs, they do like a little dance.
Oh, they do. Okay. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Let's pause it now and I'll show you.
Okay, that'd be great. Wow.
Yeah,
okay,
right?
so they actually do a dance. I was thinking, you know how Tommy gets out his flute, sort of bops around a little
No,
bit?
they do like a proper, like, choreographed routine.
Wow, okay.
I'm disappointed that we're not going to be seeing that.
It is pretty cool. And watching that too, it reminds me that now the Sentai also have morphing sequences, whereas I know when we were watching the Sentai that Mighty Morphin
Zyranger.
Zyranger, they don't have the sequences between like revealing the Morpher and being Rangers. They just sort of like flash and appear as
I
Rangers.
mean, it's very similar now in that it's only broken up with, like, the shot of them holding their morphers.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, putting on the suit sequence.
Yeah.
But I think Turbo's definitely got one.
Yeah, the Zeo Rangers have a bit of the... Like, they move their arms across their body and do the
Right.
transformation thing.
Sure.
But, yeah, I think Turbo is the first extended sort of
Yeah.
morphing sequence.
Okay. Other than that,
So back to that Dino Charge
Yeah.
teaser, there's a scene where a big Tyrannosaurus shoots out a Power Ranger who shoots out a Tyrannosaurus out of his gun. Which is like...
if that's not the best sentence you've ever heard, you are listening to the wrong podcast.
So you should definitely watch the promo at least for that.
Yeah.
Although watching that bit of Sentai as well, it does like really make it stand out for me that the Japanese are far more stylish. Like those are cool looking guys.
They are cool looking guys.
in the Sentai, whereas the American Dino Charge Rangers, while looking like cool people, aren't quite as...
They don't get to dress in like all matching leather jackets and black jeans. And
That's
like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Dino
It
Charge.
surprises me how similar it is stylistically to what... I mean, because I've only seen the Power Rangers that you guys have exposed
Yes.
me to, so,
Yeah.
you know, the very first episodes. And it just surprises me. I mean, obviously, they're still the same. It's the same idea, but still they've got, I don't know, something very similar about it. Like, I would have thought by this time it would have morphed into something else completely.
I think there's basically that's what this show is, and it's just like you could change what it is, but then it wouldn't be a season of Sentai. And we're
Yeah,
also
I
looking
think-
at a dinosaur throwback season.
Yeah, so it is got quite a few similarities
Yeah.
to Mighty Morphin. But I think too, Sentai and Power Rangers at their core are quite similar shows.
Yes.
You know, they're aimed at the same sort of age group. They're going for very similar sort of goals. We do see some
Are
small-
those girls selling toys?
Yes.
Yep. Sure.
We-
And I guess that's the other thing that I notice is that it is so plasticky.
Yeah.
You know, like they holding their plastic guns and they look, I don't know, very shiny and
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of other shows that we see now that they have that almost a rusticy sort of real life quality.
I think the key difference is that those shows are made for more than $12 an episode.
Is that so? They still have a really low budget,
Oh God, yes.
obviously.
Yeah. The difference is it looks less bad because the Japanese footage looks better,
Yeah. So
just because of the passage of time.
it's shot in HD as
Yeah.
well.
So are they still having that relationship then?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise. I thought that would have stopped at some point.
No.
No.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
God, no! They've adapted every season of Sentai since 1993, except one and a bit.
That's kind of a cool collaboration, really. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting that like the Sentai guys now sort of have their hands tied where they could never have Sentai Rangers without like visors, for example, so you could see the people underneath. Like they now do sort of have to structure their seasons in a way that would allow Power Rangers to be made, or they would lose that contract.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is there. If they shot like Go Busters, by all accounts, would have been incredibly tough to adapt because it's got like human enemies who are just Japanese people.
Yeah.
And they don't really have a morphing sequence. They like morph on set.
Yeah.
Hold on. They don't really have a morphing sequence. They morph on set. So cutting between those bits of footage would be difficult and unwieldy. So I don't know if potentially they can make a season that's unadaptable and Saban will just skip it, or if there's some sort of actual contractual relationship.
Yeah, I've got to assume that there's a clause in their contracts that say, like, if we don't feel that this season is adaptable, we're not going to do it. And maybe it's even the case that if it's too far gone, then you owe us some money because we have this relationship.
I guess.
It'd be interesting to see the contracts anyway. Yeah.
You wanted to have an extended discussion about morphing calls.
Yeah, look, it's something that's passionate to me because I think it's something that's really important to each season.
Right.
You know, when we're talking about the Super Mega Force finale and we're talking about how it's missing the morphing sequence of
Yes.
the Legacy Rangers and how that takes something away.
Yeah.
Because I think that the morphing sequence is something that I think kids really connect to. I think it has something to do with the power of words, you know? Like,
Yep.
those calls, there's something that you really connect to on, like, a
Yep.
base level.
Oh, I think it's basically becomes shorthand for, oh yeah, the cool stuff's about to happen.
Exactly.
Like, as soon as someone yells, it's morphin' time, they're going to go punch a giant dinosaur or something. Like,
Exactly, that's right. And to me, I think a good morphing call should have sort of like an action verb element to it.
Right.
Which is why I think It's Morphin Time is a bit passive. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's become classic because it was
Yes.
the first that's been used a lot. So, you know, obviously we'll have a lot of fondness for it. But I do prefer things like Shift into Turbo or Let's Rocket, for example.
Yep.
Because it does have that sense of urgency and immediacy to it that the verb brings with it.
Can you tell me any others that you don't like?
I don't like Lightspeed Rescue, for example. As much as I love that season, I think that's a weak
Yeah.
morphing call. There's some that I would make exceptions for with the verb rule. Like, I think when you can rhyme, it's pretty awesome.
Okay.
Like, Ninja Storm Ranger Form.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I believe is and Magical Source Mystic Force. The Ninja Storm and Mystic Force ones, respectively.
Yep.
Those are pretty cool. Mm-hmm. But then things like Go Galactic, not so great.
Sure.
So, yeah, I think it's important to get right, and maybe It's Morphin Time isn't the best basis for one.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. It was really interesting. I was watching some, I think it was Go Busters yesterday.
Yeah.
And one of the things they do is they announce It's Morphin Time.
Yes, I noticed that.
It's bizarre
Yeah.
to hear, like, actual Japanese people say the sentence, It's Morphin Time.
Yep.
It's really, I don't know, there's just something about it that you go, that's sort of great, but also
Not
really
quite right.
weird and...
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just an English sentence, and all of that footage you're watching, they're not speaking English.
Yep.
It's just, jarring a bit.
Yeah. Do you have any favourite morphing calls, Michael?
I think all of my favourite morphing calls are just tied to, like, the seasons that I like.
Right, okay.
I'm fond of Time Force.
That's one of those ones where, like, I don't think it's a great construct, but it's so on the table that you kind of have
Yeah,
to use it.
yeah.
You know, you can't...
What
not-
we're going to do is we're going to say the same thing twice,
Yeah.
but at the end of one we're going to say, "Sss,"
Yeah.
job done.
Yeah. Yeah, it is kind of built into the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's good ones and there's bad ones, but it is important to get one that's right, you know.
Yeah.
And if you don't have one that's good... Because I think that ideally you want one that you can use in a few different ways. Like you have the sort of somber, all right, let's do it, it's time to go. But I also like the ones where it sounds really urgent, like there's a monster charging at you, someone throws a morph at you and you sort of have to do it quickly
sure.
before you get destroyed. And when you have that sort of verb-led one, it does lend it that sort of, all right,
Yep.
go, do it now sort of thing.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's Morphin Call talk for you.
All right. The Beetle Invasion.
Yeah. Let's watch some Beatles.
It's got to be a beetle monster, right?
I'm hoping they're love bugs. Like really cute love
You're
bugs.
prepared to be disappointed, though, right?
Yeah, that does seem unlikely.
I mean, you have come on this podcast, so
Yeah.
What do you think it'll be, Michael? Beetle Monster?
yeah, it has to be. Like, I know that this show has set some bad precedents in the past,
Yeah.
but it has to be a beetle monster.
The invasion confuses me because normally I would assume that means there's multiple Beatles.
Sounds like a plague or something.
Yeah. But again, this is this show, so maybe it's just a word.
There may be two or
Yeah.
one. Oh no, it's invading beetles.
My personal space.
What if
That's
beetles are
small.
getting invaded?
Oh, that would be strange.
Yep.
They're
Be
the-
like,
oh, you have to rescue the
what's
love
that movie?
bugs.
Ants.
Ants.
Have you ever seen Ants?
Yeah,
seen
I
ants.
love ants.
You mean cheap, it's a bug's life?
Yeah, but somehow like not cheap, but just rip off.
Yeah.
I think they're different movies.
Is it the only animated film to ever star Woody Allen?
I can't think of another one.
It was just I thought it was a weird choice when I was like 8.
Yeah.
And I still think at 23 that it is a weird choice.
And that was in that weird period of time where like Pixar and other animation studios happened to be releasing similar films.
Happened to be.
No, but like the lead time on these things.
No,
to me-
every story I've heard suggests that DreamWorks found out what Pixar were making
Right.
and then were like, you get Woody Allen to make an ant movie.
Right. Okay. Because there was that, and then there was Finding Nemo and that.
That Will Smith shark movie.
Yeah.
I think it's called Shark Tale.
That's it.
I've never seen that one.
Don't.
That's the right choice to have made. Watch Finding Nemo instead.
I love Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
Well, that was Mighty Morphin DreamWorks Danger.
The Beetle Invasion.
Beetle Invasion. Let's go do it, and
do
we'll be
it.
back in a sec.
Hey guys, Matt and Michael here. Howdy. We just wanted to give you a quick heads up, a little PSA.
Yep.
That we're changing the structure of the podcast very slightly. Now, we've done a podcast every Wednesday for well over a year.
Yep.
We're very proud of that.
Yep.
But what we're going to be doing from now on is moving the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers episodes to Saturday.
Yes. That's Saturday Sydney time. It's like Friday night for most of the rest of the world.
That's right. Now, what we're going to be doing with Wednesdays now is releasing episodes of Dino Charge.
Yep. That's Ranger Danger Dino Charge.
That's right. So
It's got a rad new theme.
it does. So it's almost a separate podcast.
Yeah.
So that'll be airing on Wednesdays when Dino Charge is airing.
Yes. So when an episode airs on Saturday,
Yep.
the following Wednesday, there'll be an episode of Ranger Danger Dino Charge to discuss it.
That's right. When there's no episodes of Dino Charge, there won't be an episode on on the Wednesday.
Yep.
But you'll always have your Mighty Morphin episode coming every week.
Yeah. That's for the foreseeable future. It's at least probably for this year, I would say.
Yeah.
Next year, if we decide not to do Super Dino Charge or
Yeah.
change something, the schedule might change again. But for the foreseeable future, you're looking at new episodes of Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger on Saturdays.
Yep.
And new episodes of Ranger Danger Dino Charge Wednesdays.
That's right. So yeah, hopefully that's cool with you. Obviously, change is a bit scary. We understand that, but you get like double the amount of podcasts in many weeks.
So if you're not going to be watching Dino Charge as it airs, that's fine. The Wednesday episodes are the ones you want to skip. We're going to make sure that those are clearly labelled in the feed.
Yeah.
It'll all still be one Ranger Danger feed. We don't want to have to make you follow two separate podcasts.
Yeah.
But we will make sure that those are very obviously
Clearly
separated,
labelled.
so
Yeah.
you don't get the wrong one.
Yeah, so if you want to just listen to our Mighty Morphin episodes, that's fine. But if you want, you can also get some extra Dino Charge
Yeah,
episodes.
I mean, if you're watching Dino Charge, we obviously recommend that you listen to our podcast as well.
Get our opinion on it so you know what to think about
I'm
it.
really looking forward to watching a show where we don't quite know what's coming.
That's right.
I think that's going to be...
It will be brand new for us, and that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm super pumped about Dino Charge.
You're super Dino Charged for it?
That joke would work better 12 months from now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
Awesome.
Yep.
Thanks, guys, and thank you for listening and supporting us.
Yeah, and we'll let you get back to the regular episode. All right.
The Beetle Invasion.
Yep. Wasn't really an invasion.
No, and yeah, there was only one beetle.
There was no swarming.
It was a beetle monster, to be fair.
That's true. A stag beetle, no less.
Yep.
I actually
The
thought
most single kind of beetle.
it was a pretty cool costume.
Yeah, as far as these things go.
I was impressed.
Yeah. Do we have any overall thoughts, or should we just go for the top?
No, I think let's just take it.
All right.
So Ernie is teaching Broomball.
To the room
Yeah.
at the G Centre.
It's just like hockey, but with a broom and a ball.
Yeah.
You're essentially dressed as a janitor.
Yes.
It does look like you're trying to clean up an unruly ball.
You have sort of like knee pads and elbow pads
Yeah.
and sweatpants with a broom, and it just has that unfortunate resonance with a school janitor.
Don't forget the goggles, though. You got to have the goggles just in case a giant ball goes into your eyes. So Ernie's
It's
demonstrating.
not a real sport, right?
Yeah, I was going to ask.
I think it is.
Is it?
I think it is.
Because they actually seemed like, oh, what's broomball like?
Well, I think it was new at the time.
All right.
But I think it's like, netball is like pretend basketball. And
We'll get angry letters from upset netballers.
but you know what? And like softball is pretend baseball. It's in that sort of.
Broomball is traditionally played in Canada, but on ice.
Oh, what? With skate?
In Canada, they play everything on ice. That's just...
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They play chess on ice. It makes it much more exciting.
no, not with skates, just with shoes.
Okay.
The broom is not at like an actual broom. Like it began as a broom, but these days they play it with
Actual instruments.
actual like devices. Yes,
Yeah.
the ball is actually a ball.
So anyway, Ernie is showing the people in the room how to play.
A question about that scene.
Yeah.
Is that two different rooms? Did they shoot that scene? Basically, in the scene, we've got some people in the juice bar having their drinks.
Yeah.
And then we've got Ernie in what is usually the fighting room, right?
Yeah.
But the way they shoot it, I kind of feel like they're in two different spaces.
My guess would be to save time. It was just 2 camera setups.
Okay.
It was shot of Ernie, shot of Rangers, and so they don't ever feel like they're interacting because that's how you'd shoot it if they weren't in the same place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was actually together.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So to demonstrate to everyone how to play this game, Ernie says, you go to the left, you go to the right, and then you score.
Yep, it's that easy, Matt.
It's that easy when you have no one playing against you, but I don't think that's helpful advice in general.
Why is Ernie always involved in sports?
Because he runs a youth centre.
I thought he just worked in the bar. I didn't realise he actually runs the whole...
No, definitely. As far as we can tell, he
runs-
owns it.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Owner, operator, coach, friend to all.
Yep,
Beloved
milkshake
by
dispenser.
many. Yeah. But Ernie's trying to convince the Rangers to play.
The team
And-
from Stone Canyon have challenged him to a match.
That's right.
Despite the fact that there's no Angel Grove team.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing to do.
Like, imagine if, like, just a local baseball team came up to you and said, "We're going to challenge you to a match."
I'd have to find some Power Rangers, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But they're initially not too keen on the idea, particularly because they'd never heard of Broomball before.
No.
Until some super cool Broomball players walk into the room.
Yeah, the team from Stone Canyon come in and douche it up.
Yeah. Because, what's cooler than a person who plays Broomball?
Nothing, Matt. In 1994, possibly nothing.
It helps that they're all models as well.
Yeah, they very definitely are all models.
And dressed in black.
And they haven't lost in 2 years. So
Yeah.
But who are they playing against? Angel Grove has never heard of the sport before.
Yeah, I don't think there's a deep well of competition there at this point, so...
We've never lost the Broomball World Series against...
And a spoiler warning, they lose to a team that's been training for about a
They
week.
literally had not heard of the game before.
it could even be a day, to be honest.
Yeah.
It could really be a day. But, the Power Rangers don't like being called rookies. So, of course, they take up the challenge.
Jason goes from, "I'm not interested at all, Ernie, go find someone else to get involved," to, "Yes, we will kill them." Just as soon as one guy goes, "I bet you can't beat us."
Yeah, it's kind of concerning that the leader of the Power Rangers can be provoked so easily.
Like that,
Yeah.
straight away.
And I love at the end of this, right at the end of the scene, Tommy, really concerned, whispers, "We've got to start practicing."
Yeah.
And then cuts it. That's, yeah.
So, Lord Zed's going to destroy Tommy for good.
Yeah.
This is the
For
third
reals
week in a
this
row.
time. Yeah, it's definitely a theme, which I like. They've got their little storyline and they're running with it.
I do just feel like, at this point, Lord Zed can keep promising to destroy Tommy for good.
Yeah.
But this is his third failure to do so in a row, and he's making incremental progress.
That's the thing.
But
It's compared to the failures of the past.
Yep.
He is making incremental progress, as you're saying, towards removing Power Rangers' power. So, that is a pretty good achievement by comparison.
fair enough.
So, yeah, I'm happy with it.
All right, so he sees the Broomball Beetles
Yep.
poster. That's the team from Stone Canyon, which
Yep.
we've never heard of before, but
No.
that's fine. I guess it's the neighbouring town.
Yeah.
Their mascot is a stag beetle. Lord Zed decides to turn it into a monster.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's this really bizarre, free association. I understand that he sees things, he's like, yep, make that a monster. But he keeps acting like it's the perfect thing for this
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. Of course, the beetle monster.
This is exactly what I needed, a beetle. I don't understand why that's the case, but okay.
If they'd been learning to drive, it would have been, this is the perfect thing, a car monster,
A driving instructor monster.
engine ore.
It just makes me wonder what actually is in his head. He has to look at something.
Well, you can see it because you can literally look at his brain. There's probably dust and shit just gathers there.
He's obviously got some problems. He can't cognitively create anything. He has to
Well, I
have
said-
some kind of stimulus.
As I was saying to Michael last time, he had an in-house creative who did his designing, which is Finster, but refuses to rely on Finster services. So now
He's convinced he can do it himself.
Yeah, but now he's stuck.
Set it all in Comic Sans. It just screams fun.
That's right.
He's got
He's a
creative
bad-
writer's block or something.
Well, he's a bad boss who decided he doesn't need a designer, but he does actually really need a designer.
Yeah. Okay, so Broomball, we learn, is played on a very small court.
Yes.
Now, to be fair, it's 5 or 6 a side.
Yeah.
But it's
No, 4.
still... Is it 4?
Because at the end of the game, the 4 Rangers are playing, and I think it's Trini and Zach are sitting offside.
Sure. But it still feels like a very small space to be playing a ball sport.
Yes.
Trini's recording them playing, with a video camera.
On the world's biggest video camera.
I think it was 1994. I think they were all just that size.
I think, but later on in the scene, doesn't Skull have a video camera that's a little more reasonably sized?
I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But so anyway, for some reason, God knows why she's recording, but that could just, it might be a hobby.
Look, I can tell you, having been there, that in the 90s, when people first got access to video cameras,
You recorded everything.
you recorded
Yeah, sure.
every goddamn thing.
So we meet Richie. Richie's
Yes.
a new kid in school.
Yeah.
Trini wants his D
Definitely.
straight away.
It seems like Kimberly kind of does want that too.
Yeah. But Trini is just...
he is a 28-year-old model. That helps.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's 28.
Probably he's 28.
He was
He's not 17.
adult.
No, he's certainly not 17. Now, I think to explain Richie, I think I have to spoil something for you.
Yeah.
We all know the White Ranger is coming soon.
This is what I suspected. I was
Yes.
like, is he supposed to be like a red herring for the
Yes,
White Ranger?
so we all know that the White Ranger is coming in a couple of episodes. And I think with 20 years, we can all say that no one's going to be surprised when it turns out to be Tommy.
Yep.
But in the episode... Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
We just spoiled Power Rangers for
I'm
Sarah.
sorry, Sarah. Yeah, Tommy will lose his powers very soon, and then not long after, the White Ranger shows up. And it's a mystery as to who is this White Ranger, what's going on, what's the deal there. So,
A very short mystery.
it's not a big mystery. But so the idea was they knew it was going to be Jason David Frank, but maybe bring in some alternate possible options,
Yeah.
so that it is actually a bit more of a mystery. And if they said, "Oh, Tommy's lost all his powers, but here's Richie, the cool new kid. He likes Broomball and stuff,"
Yep.
then kids would go, "Oh yeah, I've seen Richie. It's not like some new guy introduced in this episode out of the blue."
Yeah.
And there will be a couple more potential alternate candidates over the next couple of episodes.
Like, I quite like this. Like,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily executed perfectly in this, but it shows a level of forethought and planning and sort of
They're definitely
superstructure.
not working
narrative.
episode to episode
Exactly.
this season.
There's
And-
a little arc going on.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that level of attention to detail.
Yeah.
You know? And even if they don't always hit the mark, or even if they rarely hit the mark,
Trying is far better.
absolutely. Yeah, just putting in the effort, I appreciate.
Yep. So Bulk's got a smellometer
Oh, I love this.
shaped like a giant nose.
Now, I have something to say about the smellometer. I distinctly remember the smellometer.
Right.
Now, I don't remember anything else from the episode.
Okay.
So there's two possibilities here. As a child, I watched the whole episode, and the only thing that stuck in my memory was a giant nose.
Yeah.
Or, perhaps equally bizarre, the smellometer comes back later.
Either of those are terrifying to contemplate.
Yes.
Yeah, he gets it from the back of a comic book. He's obviously
That's what he
ordered
says,
it
yes.
from some...
See, that's the thing that happened in the 60s.
Yeah, so comic books in the 60s used to have lots of ads in the back that were like, clip out this coupon and send it off with 35 cents and you'll get a magic box. And 99.5% of the time, what you got was a piece of shit designed to rip you off.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, with the idea that if you can get like 30 cents from 1,000 kids across America,
Yeah, $350.
which is pretty good in the 1960s. Like,
Yeah.
you know, if you do that once a month,
Yeah.
you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you could do it in the 90s.
No, that's not a thing.
So he's going to match the smell of people
Yeah.
to the smell of the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I don't claim to be a nose-ologist, but I don't believe that's how it works.
I don't think so.
I think people smell differently at different times.
And don't have a completely unique smell,
Yeah.
I suspect. Although Wolverine would probably argue with that.
Well, yes, that's good. There you go. That's just science.
Yeah.
Yep.
The idea of, like, scent-based tracking, like dogs and stuff, they can identify different people. So,
But I don't know that they can identify different people, like, on several different days across...
yeah, I feel like, given the science of Power Rangers, this isn't that far off the mark.
Okay, sure.
comparatively.
All right, we'll give them a pass for the smellometer.
Yeah.
Not for what the smellometer does later, but...
No one should give that a pass.
All right, Tommy and Kimberly are jogging through the park.
I have a problem with this scene.
But whoa, that was fast.
Okay, go.
She hits the buzzer. Problem.
Well, she's running in short shorts,
Yeah.
which would be fine if they're like sweatpants shorts, but they're denim tight short shorts.
Yes.
It's not great for jogging.
No, like think of the chafing.
Yeah.
I mean, the answer is she's jogging for about 3 seconds before she gets attacked by a monster.
Well, you know, I think they could have.
Which is also an aerobic activity for Kimberly, so she should be prepared for that as well.
She does do a lot of high kicks in those short shorts. I can understand the choice as to why they've selected these pants for her,
So can I.
and that is the reason.
It's a good reason.
But still, chafing.
All right, so Lord Zed sets some putties down.
Yep.
We get the triumphant return of the hanging
Hanging
putty.
putty!
Woo woo!
Love hanging putty.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm just glad to see he didn't go away when Lord Zed arrived.
No.
It's nice to see him sticking around.
He got reincarnated as a Z-Putty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
They made him put what is essentially a suicide vest on.
Yep. That's fine. He gets reincarnated every
Yeah,
week.
he'll come back.
After
It's
exploding horrifically.
Nice to see Hagen Putty.
Yep.
So they fight the putties. Nothing much there to talk about.
It's a pretty good putty fight, though. And I think a bit later we see some American Ranger versus putty footage.
Yep.
And it really hammers home the point for me that these fights are much more impressive when they're not constricted by the Ranger suits.
Yep.
Like, they get to do some pretty cool stuff. Kim does about 1 million flips
Yep.
in one shot.
In a row. It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. And they're pretty big flips. She also gets a shot where she jumps up into the air and runs across the top of the putties, which is surprising for,
Yeah.
the American footage.
She does the splits high kick thing as well. That was
She
pretty.
sure does.
Yeah, in her little short shorts.
Yep.
Yep.
We all noticed.
Yep.
Yeah, she gets a good go of it today.
Yeah.
It's fine. The stag beetle shows up.
Yep. So they morph.
Yep.
So it's just
Which Tommy announces with the phrase, "It's time to morph." Which, I mean,
you had one job.
there is a sentence. Like, if he'd said something completely different,
Yep.
that, like, it's go time, or, like, we need to do this now, you'd
Yep.
be like, fine. But what you've done is, you've taken what is, I think, an accepted part of the show at this point,
Yep.
and you've just made it slightly wrong.
Yeah. Now, do you think Tommy messed it up? Or he's like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to be the leader soon. I'm going to put my own stamp on it.
Once I take over, none of these, it's morphin' time. No,
Yeah.
it's time to morph.
Yeah. Much more prim and proper.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because morphin, it is a bit slang.
Yeah.
Like,
That's right.
to be-
That's a contraction.
Yes. It is time for us to transform.
Yeah. Now is the time in which we shall morph.
He's becoming a bit like Tommy. I mean, Billy.
So while this is happening, the
Yeah.
other Rangers are putting up the poster for their Broomball team.
Yeah.
Which is, what is holding the broom?
It's an angel.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
No,
a broom with wings and a halo.
Oh, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
thought it was like a worm.
No, it's an angel.
Okay.
It's a broom with
Wings.
angelic qualities.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sure.
of course, Michael.
Sure.
Of
Yeah,
course,
well,
They do say, oh, ours is so much better than theirs.
they're the same poster.
They're the same poster, except theirs has 5 exclamation marks on it, which is not the way to endear yourself to me, guys. Don't put that many exclamation marks on anything.
They do notice that the poster is missing the beetle, which is nice, I guess,
Rather
but
observant.
doesn't amount to anything.
No, it doesn't drive the plot forward in any
No.
way.
So the stag beetle starts to drain Tommy's powers.
Yes.
Oh no!
I
Oh,
really like. I said this before, but I really like the Beatles costume. It's like a bit of a sloth / beetle. Like I just saw it as a
okay.
Why?
That's why you like it, because it looks like a sloth.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's got sloth arms.
I think those are just beetle arms, but okay.
Well, because they've sort of like
Got that hanging sort of...
hanging.
Yeah, those are
sloth
beetle
like
arms.
curve to them. Matt understands.
Yeah, but beetles also have those arms.
Well, if you could just sort of squint and shake your head and give him a bit of fluff.
Okay, you really just want to see a sloth.
I wanted to see a
Don't
love
we
bug.
all? I'd like to say that last week's episode was called The Power Stealer.
Yeah.
More powers were stolen in the episode before and after The Power Stealer
Yes.
than in The Power Stealer.
Yes, that's correct.
I missed that one.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I'd like to point out all the Rangers, before they morph, are in identical team uniforms, which are jeans and a red shirt.
Yep.
But they all have coloured bandanas. The show's not willing to risk, even 70 episodes in, that you might not know which one is which.
Yeah, you might forget.
It's consistent, at least, and I guess any episode could be a kid's first episode.
Well, that is true, and that was something I was thinking about when watching this one, is that I think it was 2 episodes ago was probably my first episode of the show.
Yep.
That really does reinforce to me the fact that
You could
kids
start
just
anywhere.
get thrown in anywhere and
Yep.
just pick it up, you know?
Alright, so they fight the stag beetle, but he runs away after he steals the powers.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's got Tommy's powers.
He's got the green power.
Now,
This doesn't mean that he's very energy efficient or gets his power from renewable sources.
it also doesn't mean that Tommy has to demorph.
No.
or lose like the shield.
No, he just has to kneel a lot.
He just has to basically slouch against things and say, "I'm fine, but I'm weak.
Yeah. I feel totally fine, except for the part where I don't feel fine.
I'm totally fine, except I have zero energy."
No green energy.
The show is very inconsistent about the source of the Rangers' powers and how they work.
Yeah.
And look, I understand that that's because it doesn't really need to be explained. But if you're going to have, like, his green powers be drained, explain that to me a little.
Yeah.
He could at least demorph, maybe.
No, it's just green lightning that lives inside him.
I hate this show. But it's okay. Alpha's going to build a green energy transducer
Yeah.
to get the powers back.
Not to be confused with the green energy transducer, which is what we have here we make our smoothies with.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I think I just broke Michael.
So they can't destroy the stag beetle
Yeah.
until they get the green energy back.
That's right.
Because otherwise it'll be destroyed with him, I guess.
Question mark, failure.
Sure.
They never explained that at all, do they?
No.
That would have been really handy.
Yeah.
So they go down and fight the stag beetle.
The unbeatable beetle.
Unbeatable beetle.
They lose that fight, basically. They run away.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because this once again implies that Tommy's still so powerful that he could beat them all up, essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the implication that I took away from this.
That's certainly what the show wants us to think.
Yeah.
They run away. They run to the edge of a cliff, which is a terrible place to run away to.
There's this really bizarre bit where Jason says, all right, we're going to lure him off to a place where we have more of an advantage. He starts running.
Which when he
And-
backs himself up against...
A cliff. It's actually like, no, don't go that way. That's the wrong way. But they all follow him anyway. And this is, like, it doesn't amount to anything, again. It's just this weird bit of, like, completely superfluous information.
Well, here's what it does amount to. The stag beetle is about to zap them with the green energy.
Yeah.
They duck. On the opposite cliff, Tommy's got the green energy transducer, which sucks up the energy.
Yeah.
And now he's got all his energy again. And then they just summon the power blaster and explode him, and then...
It's interesting watching the Power Blaster footage again now. It highlights for me that the Japanese footage has improved in visual quality and, like, fidelity.
Yeah.
Because when you start watching the Power Blaster footage, it
It looks
so
older. Yeah.
so grainy and, like...
I was actually going to ask you guys about that. I would have thought that, because obviously even now you can tell the difference in quality between the American footage and the Japanese footage.
Yeah.
You would have thought that they'd be on par if they were, say, putting in the same money or using the similar equipment. Or is that...
It's still more about age, and the Japanese footage still being a few years prior to this Power Rangers being filmed, particularly the Power Blaster stuff, because that's from, like, the original...
So when does it start being that they make it for the show? Is it not for a while?
Oh, we do have that now, but that Power Blaster stuff isn't part of that. The Power Blaster...
Oh, but even with the Beetle stuff. Even the Beetle stuff you can tell is a little bit more...
Yeah, let's break it down. Any shot where you can see an American actor's face is shot for Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Is Power Rangers footage. Any shot where they're morphed and fighting like the monster of the week is normally newer Japanese footage. All of the older, like them summoning the Power Blaster, is older Japanese footage.
Yeah, okay.
Mostly. And there's exceptions because now we're shooting American footage with the Beetle as well. But...
So we've got, like, the
Three
Power
different
Blaster...
sets of footage.
The Power Blaster footage, very old, very visually degraded. The newer Japanese stuff, a little older than the American footage, a little visually degraded.
And I guess as well they'd have to have it shipped and stuff.
Yeah.
That's
It's
right.
not the
transferring is not...
You got to
the
remember...
same as shipping,
Yeah, it's all on
an
film,
email.
you know? Exactly.
Yeah.
That has to be, like, put on a plane.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
A good way to tell if you're looking at American morphed or Japanese morphed is to look at Tommy's gold chest plate. If it looks like a solid piece of armour, it's Japanese. If it looks like a duvet cover, it's American.
So was that in the park when they were fighting the putty?
Yeah, that's American footage.
That was American.
Anything with putties in it is now American footage.
Right. But the bug went to that place.
Yes, they had the costume sent
Oh,
over.
okay. All right. Because
Yeah.
I was wondering that.
The lines do blur a lot
Yes.
more now than they did.
Okay.
Especially these days when it's all in 1080p and it just all looks the same, so you can intercut scenes if you want.
Yeah.
No one will notice.
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
All right, so they summon. Lord Zed makes the State Beetle grow. They summon the Megazord.
We get another shitty Thunderzord fight because it's cut over original Megazord footage.
Yep.
4 more episodes, you said, of this to go?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, because it's really starting to
It is a bit.
I
grind
love
my
when
gears.
they're rolling around in the cockpit,
Yeah.
bumping into each other.
And the thing is, that's what they did last week, and that's what they're using
Yeah.
to fill in this gap. Because I don't know if we talked about it with you, Sarah. At the moment, the giant monster fights, the Japanese shot that with the old Megazord, but because they wanted to start using the new Megazord, they're just cutting new Megazord footage into the giant monster fights, which is why you never see them interact at all.
Right. I
Which
thought
is
it was
why,
particularly lame.
which is
and
why
very
the
quick.
new Megazord does a punch at the camera, and
Yeah.
then the monster staggers back.
Right, okay.
And why there's never any interesting back and forth between them
No.
because they can never be in the same shot. And there's even a shot where they get knocked back and you see the Megazord on the ground and there's a bit of smoke and you can see the old Megazord's leg in the shot.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's
So is this new Megazord Japanese footage?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's from a season with new Power Rangers that don't look like our ones.
Oh my gosh.
It's complicated. Yeah.
It stops being complicated in like 2 years, at which point it becomes just a very much a one-to-one. The Rangers get new powers, they get new stuff, it's from a new show.
Because what happened was they thought that with the Power Rangers they had to keep their suits looking the same for kids
Range
to have that
recognition,
continuity. Like they wouldn't recognise them as Power Rangers if they kept looking different. Later they found out that's not the case.
No.
So that every time the Japanese started a new series, they just have the Power Rangers get new powers, which came with new costumes. And they could just straight adapt the show.
Yep.
Whereas at the moment, they're using
Yep.
American footage and a bit of specially shot Japanese footage and cutting that in with Zords from a new season. It's just like this Frankenstein monster of footage.
You'd think I don't know much about editing, but I know it's a lot of work, and especially like it's only been easy in the last few years.
Yep.
You know, you'd think that they'd have had a hell of a time
Oh,
constructing
whoever
these things.
edited it was doing God work to
Yeah.
do this 1 episode a week.
Yeah.
It would have been...
Oh, don't forget, this was sometimes 5 days a week, this show.
Yeah, exactly.
That would
Yeah.
have been insane.
Yes.
Yeah. Horrible.
Yeah.
Okay, so they use their sword, they blow him up.
Yep.
Job done. Alright. Lord Zed's pretty shitty. But, you know, he's apparently taken some more of the Green Ranger's powers.
Yeah.
I don't know how much more of the... Every time it sounds like the Green Ranger's down to his last bit of power.
Well, we must be getting close, right?
Green No More is in 3 episodes.
Okay, so
yes.
pretty close. Yeah. Yeah, almost done with the Green Ranger. And it gives us an excuse to end on another somber ending with the...
Okay, there's a couple of things to cover first.
Right.
The smeller.
Yep.
It works like a fan.
Yep.
It makes no sense.
No.
If it worked as a vacuum, that would be fine and
You know
acceptable.
why it works like a fan? Because it's 2 hair dryers
Well,
in
In a pig's nose.
in a pig's
yeah, no,
nose.
I know what it is, but just
Yeah.
anyway.
You're not supposed to notice that.
The Power Rangers win at Broomball, showing that provided you've got magical powers from a head in a tube, you too can win at a game you hadn't played before yesterday.
Yeah. Those poor bastards.
It's a terrible message.
Yeah.
Because they don't win because they're a better team or because they work better together.
No.
They win just because it's
They're the
3
chosen
minutes
ones.
until the end of the episode, and
Yeah.
if the other guys win, it'd be depressing.
Yeah.
So Zach comes up to Tommy and he says, "Nice shot, Tommy." And Tommy says, "I just wish I could beat Lord Zed that easily."
I just wish I could beat Lord Zed using my Broomball abilities.
Way to be a downer, Tommy. You got to take the victories where you can get them, you know? Yeah, it's our second downer ending in 2 episodes.
Yeah. It's got that bleak sort of sad music and the slow zoom in. Yeah, they're really trying to build that sense of foreboding.
Yeah.
Which
I
again,
think it's working.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
All right. Beetle Invasion.
Yeah, that's that.
Yeah.
once again, like I'm enjoying the overall arc that they're building.
Yeah.
But I desperately need to see actual Megazord fights.
It's not long, Matt.
Yeah.
It's not long. So, next week, welcome to Venus Island.
Yes.
Which is an episode that you think you remember quite well.
Very well, I think.
Okay.
And my understanding is it's the first episode written by Mr. Judd Lin.
It is the first episode by Mr. Judlin, but I think we'll talk about that next week.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
All right.
Now, before we go,
Yes,
we have a responsibility.
we do, with great power.
Yes.
He wasn't very good.
No, so we're talking here about this week's monster.
Yep.
And where we're going to put him on the Ranger Danger creature feature.
Yep.
What was his name again?
He was Stag Beetle.
Okay,
Wow.
yeah. So, not very good.
No.
But
He
not...
does have sloth arms, though.
I can't believe you're going to rank him higher than RoboGoat.
I think higher than RoboGo, but if you've been very quiet on this recently. I will respect your opinion if you want to put
He
him...
can't possibly go lower than RoboGoat. There's only 4 monsters lower than RoboGoat, and 2 of those are Mr. Tickle Sneezer and the Wheel of Misfortune.
Yeah, I think he's higher than RoboGo.
Okay, I liked RoboGoat, but
Okay.
that's fine.
Well,
I like the concept of RoboGoat more than I like the execution.
Yeah, because he was not a RoboGo. That's
No.
why.
Okay, that's fine. Worse than Dramole?
I think so. At least he could burrow underground. He could shoot stuff out of his armpits.
Higher or lower than the Lizinator?
Lower because he didn't have Arnold Schwarzenegger's accent.
Okay, lower than Rhino Blaster?
I think very comparable to Rhino Blaster.
So above Bloom of Doom?
No, again, still had a cool gimmick.
Okay, so that puts him between Bloom of Doom and RoboGoat.
I think so. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once again, just bottom 10.
Yeah, not knocking it out of the park with these monsters lately.
And I think, to be honest, a lot of it is because they've got a bit of footage to work with. They don't get to do anything cool to the Megazord or...
And I also feel like, and maybe this is unfair to say, but the Japanese were phoning it in a bit with the Zayu footage. Like, they weren't really putting their all into it because they didn't have to work a story around it. It didn't need a cool gimmick.
They don't need a gimmick for the episode because they're just shooting it.
Yeah. So I expect when we start using...
Real monsters.
Yeah. Real monsters.
No. Alright, that's where we're going to end it, when Matt and I both do the same bad joke simultaneously. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week. Sarah, will you be back?
I would love to.
Excellent. And we'll see you then.